Hi, everybody. Welcome to Am I the Asshole podcast. I'm Danny Vega, joined by my lovely, lovable co-host, Summer, Bod, Hot Girl, Summer, Sarah.
Oh, okay.
Too far. I went too far, people. It is Hot Girl Summer. That's what they're saying on Twitter.
It is Hot Girl Summer, although I don't know if that applies to people in a relationship.
Interesting. So what is Hot Girl Summer exactly?
I mean, I think it's just like hoeing out and just hooking out with random people. It can be anything you want it to be.
You know, I was telling my friend about my breakup because I still am pretty beat up about it. And I said, yeah, one of her reasons was she wanted to have a hot girl summer.
Wow, she told you that?
Yeah, she said that. Really?
That's like super embarrassing, honestly.
Really? Because
That's really cringe.
That's what he said. And I was like,
yeah, this is something that you think in your head, but like to tell someone that you allegedly cared about that you're breaking up with them because you want to like have a hot girl, like to quote a meme is like, yo, that's embarrassing.
That's so funny because I just took it. I was like, oh, I totally get you. I didn't even push back. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, hot girl summer. I feel you. It's out there. I'm seeing it on Twitter. It's a thing.
I think that's cringe to actually say that.
Oh man, I mean, look, I'm hoping to benefit from Hot Girl Summer. In that case,
oh, for sure,
it worked against me there. That sucked a lot, but I'm hoping to benefit residuals from other girls' Hot Girl Summers. I hope.
Oh, for sure.
You know, it's interesting. I've been thinking a lot, Sarah, because I know we got some kickback, and it wasn't nothing bad compared to some of my previous sins. But I was thinking a lot about just my attitude towards sex, and I've realized like I do like hooking up. How do I put this? It can be okay with me, but really, it's not ideal for me. And like I was thinking about it, I was like, I really want to like not hook up so much. I don't know. I like regular stuff. I like to keep it regular. Does that make sense?
I mean, you've kind of said that before.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, look, I'm trying to figure out how to be single again, so give me a minute, all right?
Sure.
I'm going through all the same tired talking points.
I feel like I'll give one. I mean, I'm starting grad school in August, and now I'm like, oh God, am I really going to do this?
You are really going to do it, right?
I mean, yeah, like I told them I'm coming. I paid a deposit.
That's incredible, Sarah. I'm so proud of you. Look at you, Sarah. You are like, I'm in New York City. I'm going to conquer my career. I'm going to get more educated. I'm going to improve myself. And me,
thanks.
I'm like, winter makes me sad. Let's go to LA.
Thanks. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of like a little bit unsure because I'm like, oh God, that's so much debt I'm going to be into. But like, I don't know.
Hey, you'll make up for it with your career moves. You're a veritable force to be reckoned with.
Thank you.
Well, that's great. I mean, look, most of my juice, people, is that I actually got a security deposit for my apartment. So I officially am outie. I booked a flight for June 30th. I'm really doing the damn thing.
Wow.
I'm waiting to hear on an apartment. I found this my friends weren't impressed with the size really, but look, guys, it's a fucking studio apartment. Like, it's crazy. It's $200 more than my current apartment, which is a room and a 3-bedroom. It's going to be the Vega Lair. It's right by Echo Park. I'm so excited. I'm really starting to shift into excited because I didn't expect that, by the way. I didn't expect to just really feel genuine sadness at leaving New York and obviously all the relationships that come with that, but also just feeling like, damn, this is like my city and I was a big fan of it. I mean, I still am. I always will be. There's really no place like it, but
you could always come back.
I hope that I can be wealthy enough that I could like go back and forth and it wouldn't be a nightmare. You know,
well, that's a dream.
Maybe if I can find a gal who also works remotely and she has an apartment in New York and I have one in LA and we just go back and forth.
There we go.
There we go. That's a way to do it without having to strike it rich. But yeah, it's been cool. I've been talking to a lot of the LA folks, including some of our patrons. Justine giving me some info in the DMs. I'm learning about the LA River. We don't talk about the LA River is what I'm learning about. The LA River,
Wait,
it's
there's
there.
a river in LA?
There is, yeah. A river runs through it.
Am I an
Imagine
idiot for
that.
not knowing that?
No, because that's the thing. It's like a thing you know about eventually, but like it's not a feature. It's the beach. You go to the beach if you want water. The river is like a nasty thing. Yeah, it's
kind of like here.
No, don't say that.
What, are you hanging out at the Hudson River? No, you're not.
Are you kidding me? I run by the East River every single day. I love the East River.
Yeah, but you don't like sunbathe along the banks of the river. I also run by the East River. I did that today.
Oh yeah, you do, huh? The East River goes up there to Queens. You forget about that.
Mostly the boyfriend lives along the East River, sort of. But
nice.
Yeah, if I go down to the park, I guess, yeah, also. Good old East River action.
Yeah, I mean, the LA River is like a canal, really. It doesn't look anything like the East River, which is, this is a cool New York fact. The East River and the Hudson River, and the whole kind of point of Manhattan is that, I believe this is true, is that it's the world's largest natural harbor. These rivers are big enough to hold lots of boats, but not too big. And because of that, it's a nice little way to kind of contain all the waves and shit. So it's a little harbor for your boats.
All right. That's cool.
Well, I guess it was a fun fact for me, not for Sarah. What are you going to do, people?
I mean, it's cool. I don't know. It's weird that I've never heard of this before.
You never heard that? Yeah. I read a book called Gotham about New York. I'm lying. It's like a 800-page book, and I read the first 30 pages, so.
Ha! Ha ha! That's like, I'll be like, oh, I read this article, and then it's like, okay, I actually just read the headline.
Yeah.
Okay, I read the preview of the headline from a tweet.
Hey guys, please, and let me say thank you first. Actually, we got a lot of new reviews popping off on the iTunes. Guys, please, really, if you're not going to join Patreon, I get it. Look, not everyone can afford an extra thing. Not everybody's ready to make the commitment. Not everybody's ready to transform their life and join our Patreon. I understand it, but I am telling you, please rate, review, subscribe on iTunes. It really hypes the pod, and we've been getting some incredible reviews. You don't need to give a life-changing review. It just so happens that some of these recent reviewers, incredible, Sarah. Pro Danny.
Yeah, we had a good one.
Pro Danny reviews. Listen to this. The best, 5 stars. Captivated by these two. Sarah needs no further praise. The other reviews say it all. But I wish we were best friends. Wow, Sarah, look at that.
All right, let's go. Let's go to brunch.
As far as Danny is concerned, I hope he knows we're all hardest on the ones we love the most. So even though all listeners give him endless crap, it's because we care. Also, his vulnerability and growth is great, and he makes most dudes I know in real life seem like garbage. So anyway, please listen. It's one heck of a pod.
Wow. Thank you.
One heck of a review.
I love that.
This one has a great title, the type of thought-provoking combos you want to be having with your friends. I want to start off by saying I love listening to this on my way to and from work. I've been on this subreddit for years, and I can be caught up without having to scroll. Well, you're welcome. We're happy to scroll for you.
I love it. Right? Oh, my God.
It's a lot like talking to friends, and I appreciate the fact that hosts challenge each other's position and bring very different perspectives. Many times my initial conclusion was persuaded to change due to their convo. Since Danny always asks for feedback, I thought I would give him mine. Having the hosts share updates from their personal lives gives the pod an air of community and friendship. This is what keeps bringing me back. Love you guys.
Yay.
And hope to try some of those cookies next time I visit my brother in the Big Apple. XX Nanda.
Oh, shit.
Hey, Nanda. Well, I hope you're here soon. We'll go get it. We'll go get it. Chip City. We'll get whatever cookie you want, because this is one heck of a review. We love to read it.
Oh, it is.
And I love to hear, guys, by the way, because I do open up about my personal shit, and I'll go hard. I'll cry. We've yet to capture an organic cry on the Patreon, but I can see myself doing it on the main feed, guys, because if that's what we're here for, and we're here for the juice, then I gotta keep it coming.
Gotta give the people what they want.
Sarah, that was 2 great reviews. What if I told you there was one more? This is amazing. Yeah.
No way.
First of all, this username, insert sarcastic comment. That's fun. From Britain, no less. Amazing pod. I spent the last week and a half binging every available episode. My God, what a compliment. Thank you, dear reviewer. Danny is hilarious and Sarah is a gem. I'll go farther, reviewer. She's a gem and a half. Get it straight.
Aw, thanks.
They have a great rapport that makes them a joy to listen to. I always listen while I work on my small business, and I'm always entertained. Some situations are hilarious, some thought-provoking, and some downright outrageous. Unfortunately, Danny's New York cookie reviews don't help me much here in London, so I'll have to whip up a batch at the weekend. As soon as business picks up, I'll be joining the Patreon.
All right.
dear reviewer, I can already tell your small business is going to blow up. You're going to be an amazing success. And I cannot wait to see you and everyone listening on the Patreon after the show. Guys, patreon.com/AITAPOD. We have the call-in show, the WhatsApp, the cappuccino. It's a constant like voice memo podcast. It's a lot of fun.
Love it.
Join our AITA community. Join us at our next happy hour, which I believe is this coming Tuesday. And I'm getting ready to do a brunch happy hour because I want to see people in the morning and check out those vibes. Plus, we got some people in Australia. You know I'm going to cater to everyone and anyone. So we will see you in the Patreon after the show.
Yes.
I'm trying to think now. See, now I feel like I need to bring more personal juice. What else do I got? I think that's pretty much it. Sarah, I think I'm out. I mean, I'm beat up about the ex. But this technically was my plan to move to LA now. And so I'm sticking to my original plan. And it's just hard. It's hard. I want her back. But she was right to break up with me. It was a toxic thing. And I mean, I'll say this. One of the patrons had my back. Lindsay was like, hey, you seem beat up. If you need someone to talk to. And I was like, yes, I do. And we talked.
Yeah. And the cappuccino's not enough.
The cappuccino's not enough. And then I reached out to a real therapist using my insurance, and they didn't respond. I reached out to another.
You've had the worst therapist luck.
I don't know what's going on. Are you
still using like those apps?
Okay, so I have like this thing called Open Path, which honestly does get you cheap therapy. I don't know if I can recommend it, but if you need a therapist for like $30 a session, you can pay $50 and become an Open Path member. So I emailed one therapist that I liked on Open Path, no response. And then I was like, you know what? I have insurance. I went through my insurance.
I think you need to stop doing these like weird app workarounds and just actually like go through your insurance.
I did, Sarah. I did. I know. I guess I have to call a bunch because I reached out. I filled out a whole form. I went through this whole process, and
you have to call a lot of people because a lot of the time, like this is why it's really hard to get into therapy when you need it because you have to call around to people. A lot of them aren't taking new clients. If they are, you have to find out what their rate is and if it's doable. And then on top of that, you have to see if you like them.
That's a lot. I know. I want a woman. It is a lot. I want a woman. I had a man before, and he wasn't a great listener. I need a great listener, and I want someone who's a little bit harsh. Well, they don't need to be harsh. They need to be probing. That's what it really is. Good probing questions.
You know, I'm kind of feeling the same way with my therapist. I feel like she's going to find this and bring it up on Thursday, but it's just kind of like I'm getting to a point where, she's not asking me probing questions, and I feel like if I could do that type of thinking on my own, I wouldn't really be in therapy. And I'll just be like, oh, I'm feeling like anxious about this, or I'm thinking, oh, this worst case scenario, and blah, blah, blah. And she'll just be like, well, just remind yourself that the worst case scenario might not come to pass. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but like, okay, how many times can I sit here and pay you to tell me that maybe the worst thing that I think will happen may not happen?
Absolutely. I mean, this person sounds like an idiot. I mean, offering trite advice like that.
Ouch.
Well, I'm sorry, but what kind of response is that? I would be out if they were like, well, what can I tell you? You're eating compulsively, but why don't you, an apple a day keeps the dog. What the fuck are you trying to do here, bro? We need to get down underneath. This is not about...
Yeah, I mean, that's how I kind of feel right now.
A lot of therapists are fucking idiots. I hate to say. I hate to say.
She's not an idiot. She's very nice and well-meaning. I just don't feel like it goes super deep.
That's what I'm trying to say. That was a very soft disagreement. I called her an idiot, and then you said she's nice and well-meaning.
Mean. This is someone I've been talking to for over a year.
I'm sorry.
Jeez.
I'm sorry. I have not qualified to make any assertion about this person's intelligence. I guess I feel that let me reorient myself here.
All therapy is not that's the other thing is all therapy is not supposed to be and so how do you think this relates to your father? It's not, I don't know. It serves different purposes and it's not all supposed to be like that.
There are some people who literally just need someone to talk to. But those people are are honestly far gone, because if you're in therapy just to have someone to talk to, you're really not there for the right reason. But I'm on board. I'm on board with what you're saying, because look, in the end, it's a service, and you're there to cater and try your best to cater to what the person needs. And you may not be capable of doing that. And I think that's why a lot of therapists aren't good, because what they ultimately end up doing is, it is a business, and they end up kind of pandering to what their clients want. And it's rare for people to want to go in there and get fucking owned, because that's what I want. I want my therapist to be like, look,
You're like such a masochist.
Well,
You're like, destroy me.
no, but I mean, it's like, I don't want to leave therapy and be like, oh, I feel good about myself. I want to be like, oh, damn, they're right. Like, the reason I did that is because I have a tendency to be hostile, and there's a greater pattern of hostility. Even my comedy is hostile, right? Or whatever it may be, but instead it tends to be like, well, well, maybe you just need some time, and it's hard. Look, I think therapy is incredible. I could never do it. Let me say that to defend and try to walk back my comments. I could not be a good therapist at all.
I don't think I'd be a good therapist, because I would just try to tell people what to do.
Totally. I would tell them what to do. I would take them apart, and they would be like, I hate that guy. That's what they would leave, and they would never see me again.
Yeah, I mean, I would just be like, you need to fucking dump him.
Yeah, right. If Reddit was your therapist, just dump him.
Oh, yeah.
Do we already list the new patrons? Julia, Cecily, I'm probably saying that wrong. Cecily, Paul, and Melody.
Thought it was Cecily.
Yeah, well, welcome to the Patreon, guys. We're happy to have you. Good. I feel good about that intro. Let's do a little guess the verdict. AITA. For not eating the dinner that my girlfriend made for me. Here we go.
I'm going to go with, you would think it's no assholes here. But I feel like there's some weirdness that I'm going to go with not the asshole.
Not the asshole sure does seem like it could be right, but it's not. In fact, it is no assholes here. So,
dang it.
The story is that they often watch Netflix together. He's been with this gal for about 9 months. And on this particular evening, he comes to her place. She invites him over, as per tradition. She made a nice din-din, steak, shrimp, salad, baked potatoes, Brussels sprouts. Let me say, ladies, this is quite a great dinner. And males, by the way, who cook. I was just very impressed with this selection. OP then says he had a lot of pizza at work. She gets pissed because she made all this for him, and he can barely get down a few bites.
Damn, I'd be a little sad.
He said that she really couldn't even forgive him during that hang, so he felt guilty and made the post. Held on by a string. Top comment, no assholes here. You didn't know, she didn't know. The gesture was thoughtful on her behalf. Maybe you do something nice for her next time you go over there.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think like sometimes when something like this happens, it's like, even though he didn't do anything wrong, you still have to understand, like, it's going to be a disappointment for her. Like in that,
totally.
Just like letting it go. I mean, like, hey, I understand why you're upset, and I'm sorry. Like, and that's why I try to be liberal with apologies in certain contexts. It's like, look, she just built this up. She worked hard for it. I mean, this is a heck of a din-din. So
yeah, I get that. I feel that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, time to see if this is fair. Would I be the asshole for asking the bride if I could bring a date after she already revoked my +1?
Interesting. Well, my intuition is that asking anything of the bride tends to be a crime, but then you would try to trick me. But I'm just going to be straight up with it, because I tend to think like, well, wait, why would she remove the +1? That's weird. I'm going to go no assholes here.
Ooh, close.
Damn.
Here's the story. The OP's 22, bridesmaid for a 24-year-old, one of her longtime friends.
Okay.
She gave her a +1. OP is single. OP thought it would be a good idea to bring a good mutual female friend. Mm-hmm. However, when the bride found this out, she contacted OP and said the +1 is only for OP to bring a boyfriend, not a friend or a date. When OP asked why, the bride said, I just want all of your attention to be focused on me and not on your friend. It's my wedding day, and I just want all of your attention.
Jesus.
That is bizarre. So luckily the friend wasn't able to make it, so OP didn't even have to uninvite them. But OP is still like, wait, I don't want to be I'm going to be literally the only single person at this wedding. Like, I want a +1. Would I be the asshole for asking the bride for a +1?
Mm-hmm.
Top comment was NTA, but let me give you some advice. Just go alone, own that shit. And then they just talk about like how you could go to the wedding alone and not worry about it. I was kind of with you where I think asking for a +1 is like tacky. And I thought that having revoked a +1 meant that OP did something bad. Not that the bride is being completely unreasonable and weird.
Yeah. Interesting. I guess my thought is, why is she being so controlling? It seems a little bit ridiculous.
Exactly. It's also like you're not going to talk to anyone on your wedding day. Like you're just going to be saying hi to everyone and it's a blur.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Weird.
All right. AITA, when I'm not honest with my best friend on why she's forever single.
Not honest?
Yes.
I'm going to go with no assholes here.
No assholes here is correct. Good work.
Aha! Phew.
So apparently OP's main problem, and I've run into these folks, and I've been one of these folks. She talks so loudly. A loud talker, guys. You gotta rein in on this behavior if you're a loud talker. One time she was on a date at a museum, and the guy she was with told her to shh. Okay.
Awkward.
Her second problem is that she doesn't stop talking about things no one cares about. The other day she read me the descriptions of the jobs she was applying for, all 36 of them.
Oh my God.
Pretty crazy. Top verdict, no assholes here, by Hannah Cat's Meow, a username I enjoyed. She honestly sounds like me. I'm an autistic woman who talks too loudly and hyperfixates. However, I've learned to lower my voice and force myself to be a better listener and have two-way conversations.
I mean, that's rough. So I guess I feel like maybe OP should tell her. I don't think she's the asshole for not, but like...
Well, guess what,
if
Sarah?
you think you know the information, why not pass it along?
OP did tell her in an update to the post, and she got super pissed. So pissed.
Okay, well...
So, that happened.
I mean, that's normal.
That's normal. Nobody's going to hear something like that and be like... Oh, that's fine.
And like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's I think a thing to be aware of. It's like, look, there are times when people are going to have an adverse emotional. It's really not about the reaction, because you got to kind of give them that if it's harsh feedback. It's really about
I agree.
The circle back after the reaction. If they can then be like, hey, you know what? It did hurt, but honestly, it was the right thing to say. You said the right shit, and I learned from it. And thank you. That was actually what a true friend would do. That's really what shows character.
Agree. I mean, anytime you tell someone something they don't want to hear, you have to prepare yourself that they're going to be mad at you.
Right.
And to not really take it personally.
Right. Yeah.
Speaking of not taking things personally,
there we go.
AITA for, quote, fat shaming, unquote, my friend.
Interesting. I'm gonna. Of course, I want to say, well, we got the quotes. Well, why would they be the asshole? I'm just gonna go no assholes here.
Ooh, you'd think, but this one actually was pretty straightforward.
Really?
So, yeah, OP, bunch of guys in their 20s, one of their friends put on a bunch of weight recently.
Yeah.
And I think this guy's British because he says we often take the piss out of him for it.
Okay.
They don't think he cares because he calls himself fat too. Here's really what was happening.
Oh boy.
Okay, recently we were ripping into him because we were about to go out, but his expensive shirt didn't fit. We were joking about how he's going to take someone's eye out when he sits down because the button will pop off. Then he came out in new outfits. They just kept roasting him. At one point, they were grabbing his stomach and saying it was a mess. And OP says, but it was just a joke, and we were hoping it would motivate him to get back to the gym with us. Okay, eventually, like, the friend was like, I'm not coming out with you guys. And then they were like, oh, but why? What do you mean? Okay. Bad. Top comment was, YTA, you and all your friends. How is grabbing someone's stomach, calling them a mess, and making them feel shitty about how they look going to motivate them? You all sound like bullies who ganged up on him. This wasn't banter. It was just cruel.
Seems very fair to me. It seems like that just got mean, and they're trying to rationalize it by saying it's motivational.
Yup.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Being like, oh, he likes it. No, he doesn't.
Of course he doesn't. All right, Sarah. Well, at least you broke our streak. I think we were on a double no-hitter in a row. Sarah is the winner, the guess the verdict queen, the meme queen. It can't be refuted, people. You know what else can't be refuted? Our Patreon is a deal, guys. I have made it a deal. There was a while there when I was like, Netflix is a better deal, and I got to give it to them. But Netflix doesn't have a WhatsApp. Netflix doesn't have a cappuccino. Netflix doesn't have bi-weekly happy hours. Okay?
That's
Netflix
true.
doesn't.
You have to make your own, and that's no fun. Who wants to do that?
Netflix does have a huge content library. That's fair. But
So do we.
We do too. We got over 50 bonus episodes in the Patreon. We will see you in there. Join our community. We will see you in the Patreon after the show. Patreon.com/AITA pod. All right, let's do this thing. This is a listener submission app. We got a lot of listener submissions, and sometimes we get listener submission. They say don't put it on Facebook. That's actually an option at AITApod.com. You can say don't put it on Facebook, and I think almost all of these are of that ilk. So it's just gonna be me and Sarah tearing these things apart. Let's do it.
Woo!
AITA,
And that's what you got if you submit, and you also check not to put it in the group.
There we go. AITA for not sending out photos I took of a wedding. I was asked in January to do the photography for my brother's wedding in June. I was ecstatic about it as photography is a passion of mine. Near the end of April, his fiance texted me abruptly and said, "We've asked someone else." I was devastated, but I accepted their choice. My brother did note that he'd be fine with me taking photos of our family if I wanted, so I did. Now his bride and other family members want digital copies of the pro quality photos that I took on my own time and accord. The other photographer wasn't very present or well equipped, and I feel this is a natural consequence to canceling me as their photographer. Am I the asshole for not sharing these photos with them?
This one's kind of interesting because, yeah, they reaped what they sowed, and there's a little bit of karmic justice in here. That
Yes.
said, this is your family. And, like, what else are you going to do with the photos? Like,
I mean, I honestly feel like a very fair move here would be like, sure, you want the professional quality photos I took and you want the digital negatives, you want exactly what you would get from a professional photographer, great. Simply pay me what you paid him. That's what you
That's
want,
true.
right? Like, I feel like that's very fair.
that's more than fair to be like, well, here's my rate.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
didn't get the photos you wanted, and so I happen to have them, and that's what I charge, and that's what you were going to pay me, but you changed your mind. But look, you still want my services. Well, you're lucky I happen to provide them anyway.
I think that's more than fair.
I think it's very fair. I mean, look, I think OP has to balance this with the fact that, you know, it is their family, and this can be ox sauce, and, you know, do you really want to create a potential schism here? They may go nuclear or whatever, but look, I think...
That's the thing where it's like, you would be in the right, but is it worth potentially, like, starting a fight over this?
Yeah.
I mean, I would kind of lean towards no, just because, again, like, what are you going to do with photos of someone else's wedding? I mean, add them to your portfolio for sure, but, you know, it's not going to bring you as much joy as it would bring them to look at.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that's on OP to know what the actual best political move here. There's a balance of factors. Sometimes going in guns a-blazing and being like, I'm right, actually will not help you in the long run. But in this case, you totally are right if you want to. Well, I mean, you have a right to not share them, but that just seems...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It just seems like it wouldn't go over well.
Yeah, I mean, I think asking for payment is fair. If they refuse to pay, then that's really up to you, OP, how you want to handle this, because you don't want to fuck up shit with your family. Is that really worth whatever, $1,000 or whatever it may be?
I could see this being like a real follow-up situation on Reddit, like if they refuse to pay and then it becomes, it would become a huge family blowout.
Of course.
If they refuse to pay and then OP also refused to give up the photos. And then we'd be back here. The verdict would still be not the asshole, I think. But I could see that being like a big Reddit sitch.
Yeah. I mean, I would say no assholes here. I mean, I guess I'd have to know a little bit more about this switch that happened. It's pretty rude.
Honestly, that's true. Because I mean, like, maybe the thing is, like, I don't personally agree with like having your family work your wedding. I think you should let your family enjoy it and have fun and pay like another professional. And the other thing is too, when you employ family or friends, I feel like there's often this expectation of them doing it for less. So I say don't even bother, because I don't think that's really fair. don't make them work the wedding. Let them enjoy it, and just like get someone else.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like OP wanted to do it. I guess I would say if you're going to work with family and friends, you might as well, especially with something like this, with a wedding. Listen, it's a wedding. It's a wedding. Everything at a wedding is extremely heightened and elevated and expensive. In other words, you need to execute at an extremely high level. And I actually think that if you're going to play this game, I think that this is a great place for formality and contracts and things of this nature, and be like, look, you want me to act as a professional photographer at your wedding. Isn't that right? It's very important to you. Well, I'm not doing this as a favor. So maybe you cut him a deal on the rate, whatever, but you still make him sign a contract and put down a deposit and all the normal things, and some people will get offended by that. But I actually think that helps protect everybody involved. If you're going to mix family and business, then why don't you just make it a nice, clean business transaction, cut them a deal on the rate, but keep it pro.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing, like not even to their credit, but I'm just trying to like imagine the couple's motivations is like, OP is not a professional photographer. OP is like, this is a passion.
Sure.
It's like a side hustle, whatever.
Sure.
I also wouldn't want, I mean, it's unfortunate that it worked out this way, but I wouldn't want like an amateur photographer shooting my wedding. I also would get someone who like literally is a photographer for a living.
Well, yeah, but then they hired someone who was actually worse.
I mean, that does suck. I'm just saying, like, maybe that was also part of the reason.
Yeah. Well, apparently their judgment is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think this is a toughie to navigate, and I probably wouldn't approach this OP unless you're really hard up for cash as a potential cash grab.
I would even like, if you're not, you could frame it nicely and like just cut them like a small discount.
Yeah, maybe approach it with a conversation. Depends how level-headed these people are, too. You really don't know what you're going to get. I mean, it's your brother. Think, hey, bro, I'm going to be real with you. It really hurt my feelings when you went with someone else. Now you come to me asking for my photos. And I feel disrespected. It really depends on your relationship with your brother. But I have to say, I would say those are your photos and you have a right to them. And it's your right to, look, you were essentially acting as a photographer. They did not pay for your services. And look, those are your photos, plain and simple.
Right. Totally.
AITA for not sending out photos I took of a wedding. I would say maybe they're kind of the asshole for randomly canceling, but OP even said that it was a passion, so I'm ready to go no assholes here at this juncture.
Yeah, lacking more information, I'm ready to go no assholes here. I don't think I feel like there's plenty of valid reasons to not book your amateur sibling as the photographer for your wedding, and regardless of, I mean, in the absence of knowing their reasons,
right.
I'll say no assholes here.
Guys, please join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. Submit, AITApod.com. Please rate, review, subscribe on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. We'd really appreciate it. It takes like 20 seconds. All right, we're going to play Assholes at the Wedding. I love this. I'm surprised we haven't done this before. This is great. Assholes at the Wedding.
Oh my God, okay. The best man who gets wasted and slurs through his speech for like 45 minutes.
Oh, God, I've seen this. It's such a cringer. Let me say why you're the hero to the lady who walks up there. This actually happened at a wedding I was at, and slowly escorts him off the stage because he will not stop. And who even is that? Nobody knows. She's the aunt that nobody even knows.
Love that. A queen.
The boyfriend who doesn't drink, and he's trying to have a good time, but it's like 11 now, and everybody's all fucked up, and it's me, everyone. It's me. I'm trying.
I was like, is that you?
I'm trying, but I'm tired, and I'm ready to go home now. I know I have to pretend to have fun for more time, but I'm not fucked up like everyone, and I ate too much cake, so I'm sick.
Okay, what about all the older relatives who keep asking the one unmarried sibling when their turn is?
What about the guy who is really fixated on the fact that he hasn't gotten that much time with the couple? I barely seen him.
Is that also you?
Yeah, that was me. I thought, why are we here? We haven't even seen them. I'm seeing everyone but them. This is bullshit. There's barely 200 people here. I want to hang out with them.
The person who shows up with a +1 when they weren't given one.
Oh, boy. How dare you?
I know.
The people getting nasty on the dance floor. It's not that kind of wedding. Ugh. We are in a vineyard. No. What are you guys doing?
Grandma's right there.
Grandma is crying now. She's upset at that the devil has entered this wedding. Why are you grinding in a wine? This is a vineyard.
Ma'am, this is an Arby's. I had one and then I forgot. You know what? Let's just say anyone who does the garter toss, it's weird, it's gross, weird. Nobody wants to watch it. Let's get rid of it.
The officiant who accidentally calls the bride a whore. This actually happened at my friend's wedding.
No,
I can't remember how. I think it was like I don't know. It was a slip up. It didn't play malicious at all. I got a huge laugh. It was clearly a slip. But it was that also at the same time. It was a classic. It was a classic.
Oh my God. Okay. The ex who gets invited to the wedding who's like clearly not over it.
Oh no, why would you invite the ex to a wedding unless it's a lesbian wedding? We've learned that actually flies at at some of the lesbian weddings, not generalizing. The guy who's like really one of his central talking points is like, I'm never gonna get married. This just isn't for me. And his girlfriend's like, yeah,
oh God,
okay,
Danny, that was me.
Thanks. Is that you?
I mean, low key.
Low key.
Okay, what about? Oh my God, I had one. Oh, anyone who objects.
Oh yeah, that's a movie thing. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Apparently, I've read this on Reddit that people will do it as a joke, but then the problem is like the officiant legally won't be able to marry you if someone objects.
Oh my God, that's insane.
Yeah, in certain
jurisdictions,
at least.
That's crazy. What about the wedding planner who's totally checked out? Again, a real thing that happened. This wedding planner was at my friend's wedding and she did nothing. Nothing. Actually, I think we ended up doing a submission about it because she just straight up, like, she had given a deposit and then she was like, yeah, I'm not going to pay you. Like, you did not deliver the goods at the actual wedding.
That's the worst.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
All right, guys, that's
assholes. The DJ who shows up like 3 hours late. That didn't happen to me at a wedding, but it happened to me at my friend's bat mitzvah.
And then
so I don't think they ended up coming at all.
And then he opens with like songs from the late 2010s. You're like, what the fuck is this, bro? Are you really playing this right now?
Yeah, what a buzzkill.
What a buzzkill. All right, guys, we're going to get right back into this here. AITA isn't my fault for getting blocked. My friend and I were venting in a group chat about how we always get verbally harassed at this one single-sex, all-male school. For the sake of privacy, let's call the school Smiths. We then jokingly determined that there are, quote, boys who go to Smiths and Smiths boys. Ugh. The first one being good, the second one being bad. During this convo, we noticed one of our friends who happened to go to the school became very quiet. We reached out to him in a separate group chat to let him know he was our friend and we trust him. We wanted to make sure he was okay and that we didn't hurt his feelings, which replied that he had some disagreements with what we said. We have, of course, asked him about this, and basically he went into the fact that he didn't like the terms. You know, boys who go to Smiths versus Smiths boys. Ugh.
Okay, relax.
We agreed to not use the terms, but we also continued to talk about our experiences at the school. So he was educated about it. He went on to say that the Smith school raised a good, honest man. And it's not just Smiths that is like this, where you replied that, of course, we know that, but there's still problems. He ended up making the whole thing about us attacking the school and not how we were harassed and blocked. Me and my friend did not get blocked because he has a crush on her. Am I the asshole for defending my rights? I got a little confused.
Oh, forget it. Come on. Forget this kid.
Forget the guy?
Yeah.
I'm a little confused.
These people are like trying to bring up legitimate issues and then this person is trying to like manipulate it and make it personal.
Interesting.
Over nothing.
The guy is making it personal. I mean, look, let me say this talking point.
I'm assuming the OP and the friend are women. They get harassed at a single-sex, all-male school. They have a friend who goes to that school who, instead of being like, wow, that's horrible, that shouldn't be happening to you, is like, oh, well, I'm not like that, and now I'm offended. Forgot it.
Okay, I guess I can see some. I think you're right. I don't think you're wrong at all. I think you're right. But let me say this, Sarah. On Twitter, there's a lot of men this, men that, men are horrible, men are this, all day. I'm on Twitter. I see this. And I will be honest that I know it's a joke, and I know that I'm not who they're talking about. I know this. I mean, look, sometimes they are talking about me, but I would say that it does wear on me at times. And so I kind of understand how this could be a pain point, especially for a younger man.
I mean, I think that this person is like, these people all feel like high schoolers to me.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But so I'm kind of like, bro, if you're 15 and you're tired of hearing about how men suck, like, okay, I have news for you.
Well, I'm 31 and I'm telling you that it can grind my gears a little bit.
Yeah, so you're double his age.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't go away. I'm saying it's harder for a younger man.
Yeah. I feel like it's less hard. It's like you haven't even heard anything yet.
No, I think it's harder because, I know it's bullshit, most of it. And I think a lot of it is just Twitter humor. And that's fine. And I understand as well, let me say this, I get it, because I have been hearing misogynistic jokes. I still hear them from older men, mainly. And I understand that, jokes about my wife sucks, this and that. And generalizing jokes. And I've gotten in trouble for generalizing before. But I guess I'm just saying that, like, look, it's not nice. Even if you're white, you're a straight white male, and you're super privileged, I get it. That doesn't mean that it's necessarily always easy to hear. That's all I'm saying.
It's not. It's not really supposed to be easy to hear as a thing. And also, like, these friends, like, literally, I feel kind of went the extra mile and took the time to pull him aside and be like, we don't mean you when we say this, and we use these separate terms to differentiate, and also agreed to not use them around him. And then instead he kind of takes it personal still. Where it's like, if you're not even going to let people talk about the actual problems that they're experiencing at the school because you're offended because you happen to go there.
Right.
I mean, come on, bro.
No, I'm with you. It does seem overly sensitive. Especially because they did reach out to him. They did clarify. I mean, this very thing does consist of a distinction. They created a distinction. There's boys who go there and they're innocent. And then there's the nasty, the dreaded Smith's boys.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, he seems like he's also kind of denying what happened to them. So he's not accepting that some of the Smith's boys are pieces of shit, apparently.
Which makes me think maybe he's one of them.
Oh, boy. Okay, so then I'm a little bit lost on... Okay, so then this guy eventually blocks OP, but not the friend because he has a crush on her.
I mean, come on. That is like the most fragile BS. I mean, look, OP, is it your fault you got blocked? I mean, kind of. Because, like, you're a person who's involved in this scenario. But, I mean, are you the asshole? Like, are you anyway in the wrong? No.
Yeah, OP...
Like, you just went toe-to-toe with a very, like, sensitive...
I think OP...
immature person.
Yeah, I think OP was very reasonable because this individual said he doesn't like the terms, and I actually think the terms aren't too bad. Boys who go there were Smith's boys.
Come on, that's crazy. That's not
That is
bad.
more nuanced than what I see on Twitter, which is just that all men are monsters. Yeah. So that's more nuanced already. And then OP actually does hear that and say, okay, we won't use the term, so we're still going to talk about what happened to us from the Smiths boys. Ugh. And so, yeah, I think that's a fair accommodation. I think OP did try. He does have a right to block you, but I thought you were fair to him. I guess the OP doesn't say they apologize. He does seem like he's getting huffy about it, but he's kind of being ignorant.
This is a situation where, like, I don't think you need to apologize because, like, for some people, apologizing is just an admission of wrongdoing and, like, legitimizes their reasons for being mad at you in the first place.
It's true.
And so I feel like if she were to apologize, he would be like, okay, cool, I'm right to think this way. And no, that shouldn't be reinforced.
Right. AITA isn't my fault for getting blocked. I think we agree. I think this kid is being ignorant. He's not acknowledging the problems and he's getting hurt by them. So he like almost does identify and is defensive about the school. Just acknowledge that the Smiths boys are fucked up. I don't understand. So yes, AITA isn't my fault for getting blocked, not the asshole, and he is. Are you with me?
Yes, the lady doth protest too much.
There we go. AITA for ghosting my friends and for wanting to cut off my whole family. Brutal. Whew. When I was a senior in high school, I went against my father's rules, and I got social media to keep up with the friends that I made in school. Damn, brutal rule. My father found out and got furious. He not only made me stop my social accounts, he even put a parent control app on my phone that sent everything I did to my mom's phone. I didn't even know that was possible. Holy shit.
Overbearing.
As to texting my friends, he told me I had two choices. One, to text them without telling them that my parents can see our conversations, or just block them. Wow.
Jeez.
Is this fucking like, this is a dystopia here.
That doesn't even make sense.
I didn't want to let...
Why are those options equivalent?
Crazy. Yeah, you're right. I didn't want to let my parents invade my friends' privacy, so I chose to block them. A few years passed, and I deleted that app off of my phone when my mom's phone was unlocked, and I didn't want to explain myself to my friends because the whole situation was embarrassing. So I decided to just check up on them through their socials without contacting them. The only problem was my best friend didn't use the social platform. She was shy and awkward, and she didn't have many friends. This year was the year I finally found her on Google. It was her obituary. She passed away from a car accident. AITA for ghosting my friends and for wanting to cut off my whole family. This is wild.
Okay. I guess I just don't understand, like, okay, OP was a senior in high school, so you literally just stopped talking to all your friends, but, like, never brought it up in school. Like, you never tried to have conversations with them. I understand that OP is probably, like, afraid and was in, like, a, very controlling environment. So, I mean, they're not the asshole for that. I'm just, like, sad that they didn't try, seemingly.
Yeah, I don't really understand. I guess it was COVID, so they couldn't go to school, so they only saw them on Zoom.
Oh, is that what's
I
up?
guess. I don't really know. I'm more confused.
I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that really sucks. Let's see. When was this sent to us?
Look, I don't think this is fair to characterize this as ghosting. You're being forced into a ghost.
So sent it yesterday. I mean, to them, OP ghosted, but we know that there's more to the story.
Yeah, I don't think it's ghosting. And no, I think your parents are nuts. This is crazy. I'd never heard of this. This is not respecting your autonomy at all.
This is terrible.
In today's world, honestly, to cut a child off from a phone is obviously necessary at a young age because I'm pretty sure it'll fry your brain. But, oh God, to deprive even a 14-year-old, I would say, of technology, of a phone or a computer of any kind, it's like, damn, how are they supposed to be part of the world? Because that's the world.
And just of talking to their friends.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It's madness.
That's unfortunate.
Absolute madness, OP. I'm really sorry this happened to you. And yeah, you do have a right to cut off your whole family. And you didn't ghost your friends.
That's so unreasonable.
So unreasonable. You don't need to feel like you ghosted anyone. You didn't do anything. You just tried to cope with the situation you were in. And
agree.
You were basically censored like a little dictator dystopia you were in. And I'm sorry it happened to you. AITA for ghosting my friends and for wanting to cut off my whole family. NTA and your parents are the asshole.
Oh, big time.
Guys, please rate, review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon. The Patreon's getting sweeter by the second, folks. Patreon.com/AITA pod. We will see you there after the show. Am I the asshole for not buying lunch for my parents? I love doing a lot of these, like popcorn. So today, my dad...
Speed dating.
There we go. So today, my dad had a haircut. So I decided to tag along and get my nails done at the nail salon across the road. Before I left, my mom looked at me and said, okay, so you can shoot us lunch because we do everything for you and you can do something for us. What the fuck? I fully wasn't planning on buying lunch as we had leftover lasagna at home, but I ended up being really hungry after my nails were done. I wasn't really thinking clearly at the time to really have the wherewithal to text her and ask, so I just got lunch for me. When I came in, she looked at me and said, did you get any for anyone else? And basically called me selfish. Also, just for added notes, lunch cost me $14 and it would have cost me $42 if I had bought it for them. Also, I buy my parents lunch once every 2 weeks as part of something else we do. Am I the asshole?
I mean, I definitely feel like telling your kid, okay, we do everything for you. You can do something for us. Get us lunch. First of all, I wish I knew ages. But... is definitely much.
It's aggressive. Good Lord.
But it's super aggressive. But then on the other hand, it's like, okay, you knew they wanted lunch. You got lunch. you decided not to get them lunch, and I'm not really buying like, oh, I just didn't have the wherewithal to text. It's like, I think you just know that you didn't want to spend the money.
Yeah, that's fair. I can say that's again. But then also they were going to get this big reaction. We don't know the ages, but like, God, and can we just talk about lunch now costs $14?
No, lunch is so expensive.
Lunch is so expensive, Sarah. You can't always get the dollar slice pizza, only in New York City, folks. You know, like, it's fucking crazy now. Everything is like so expensive, and people still make $7 an hour in some states. So I don't really know how expensive this is for OP, but $42, I mean, even I'm sad about $42. That's a lot of money, you know?
That's a lot of money. I guess what I'm imagining this situation to be, and like I could be wrong, but I'm imagining like OP is an adult who's living at home to save money. So if that's the read, it's like, which I did for 3 months in the pandemic, it's like, yeah, throw your parents some lunch.
I guess, but I don't like the way this was thrown at them. I don't believe this is how it works. There is no parity in a fucking parent-child relationship. Sorry, it's not fair. This is what you signed up for, to be a parent. I don't owe you nothing. You don't owe your parents nothing. They owe you. That's the deal that they make to raise you.
Yeah, you don't owe them anything, but I guess I'm
you,
also just feeling like you knew they wanted you to get them lunch. You got yourself lunch. You, like, it's like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, look, OP could have said something, but they didn't want to say anything because why was mom being so demanding? We can do everything for you? Nuh-uh. Guess what? I don't owe you for that. You chose to have a child.
Yeah, it's not like a quid pro quo relationship with your children.
Well put. Exactly. It's not quid pro quo. Being a parent means signing on a line that says, I'm about to get fucked. That is the deal that you make when you become a parent. It is not a good deal for you. It is not a fair trade. It's just you raising someone, and they don't owe you for that. They don't. In fact, I ran into a juicy tidbit. Some of my friends now, parents. Imagine that. I even got a friend now, 2 kids. He's got 2 kids, cutest kids I've ever seen. And I go, are you gonna do another one? He's like, I'm so tired. I was like, are you gonna do another one? He's like, actually, probably yes. We want a girl. I said, really? You know, your wife wants a girl? You want a girl? He said, we both want a girl. I go, really? Well, that's great. Why? Just because, you know, variety is the spice of life? He goes, no. It's because girls actually take care of their parents when they get old.
Wait, what?
That's what he said, and I relate with that because one of my famous young Danny Vega quotes is, my parents are like, are you going to take care of us when we're old? And I was like, no, man, I'm not going to do nothing for you.
Damn, you said that to your parents?
Yeah, I was like, I don't owe you anything.
Did you mean it?
Totally. I'm like going to visit them, but I'm not going to, like, they're not my, if they have problems, I'm going to, like, I'll go hang out and be like, how are you? But like, their problems are their problems. That's how I feel.
Oh,
I raise my kids the same way.
Cold.
No, it's not cold. It's how I believe.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cold.
If I have kids, Sarah, I am not going to expect them to care for me when I'm older. I hope they'll visit me and want to hang out and be like, you know, your dad's dying, so come pay me a viz. But like, I would never expect a child to support me or anything. It's my duty to support them. You know?
That's cold. Their whole life. That's like
whole life.
That's the trade-off. You don't have to necessarily move them into your house, but you figure out a caretaker. Home if that's necessary.
Well, yes. I mean, if I'm
like, you can't just be like, well, I didn't choose to be here, so you're not my problem. I'll say hey every 2 weeks. That's fucking cold.
No, I mean, look, if something happened and whatever, they couldn't take care of each other or whatever, yes, I would step in and you know, get a caretaker.
Yeah, it's generally how it kind of tends to go at some point for one of them.
I mean, I would be pissed off if I was trapped into some kind of situation. I mean, look, it happens. It happens to people. Of course I would, Sarah. Of course I would. You're right. I'm full of shit. If the shit hit the fan.
I was like, oh my God.
If the shit hit the fan, of course I would.
They're not saying like, oh, when I retire, I'm going to come live with you and just for fun. It's like, yeah, when I'm literally like unable to physically care for myself. Like, damn.
Well, yeah. I think my dad at one point has said, hey, if I'm ever like vaguely incompetent. just take me out of my misery. He would say some shit.
My dad literally was joking about his smother pillow on his birthday. And I was like, relax, you're like 64. It's not coming to that.
Like,
knock on
that,
wood.
that is a kind of joke. Tell me if your family works. My dad would be like, yeah, just put me out of my misery. And my mom would be like, Carlos, don't say that. So.
My dad is like, well, yeah, here's this mother pillow. And my mom is just like, all right. My mom is like, where is it?
Where is it?
So I shouldn't use it right now.
OP, look, I don't know. I don't like the way your mom said this. Let me say this, Sarah. Fine, yes, deep down we will all take care of our parents unless they're total monsters to us if they get old and frail or whatever. But like to just throw this at your kid, we do everything for you. Your mother is not okay in my book. That's not an okay thing to say. And I think
yeah, I don't like it. I kind of am getting the vibe that the parents are just like really not nice in other ways.
Exactly. Of course. And that's why OP didn't want to text, because he knew it was going to be a whole thing. And I don't like this dynamic. There's no way in hell that I'm coming for you, OP. Am I the asshole for not buying lunch for my parents? I'm saying not the asshole, and your mother is. Your father.
I'll go there.
Yeah. I guess Dad had the haircut, so we're going to let him pass. Just we're coming for Mom.
Dad doesn't seem involved. He's like, I just drove. Leave me out of this.
I just drove. Do I look good? He doesn't even care. Dad, you're bald. You didn't need a haircut. All right, guys. Well,
that's my dad.
That is the app. Please join us on our Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. We'd love to see you in there. Join the WhatsApp, join the Cappuccino. We'll do a call-in show. Let us know. Reach out to us on there.
And I will say, we have a great convo in the WhatsApp happening right now about the wedding situation that we just talked about.
Oh, yeah. Let's pull that up.
So join the WhatsApp.
Let's pull that up.
Exclusive content. It's very fun.
Susanna wrote, wish we knew if anyone had offered to pay for the photos. I'm guessing not, or wondering if OP has offered to send them for some sort of reasonable price. So that's kind of what we were suggesting to go with. Katie writes, no assholes here. You took the pics. What were you going to do with them? If not, share them. Maybe she did it so that you didn't have to work during your brother's wedding, or maybe not. But she still needs to pay you. See, I think we all kind of agree that paying needs to be part of this.
Yes. Lindsay did have a good comment. She was like, I'm going to go a rogue YTA. I don't understand why OP took their time to photograph this wedding if there was no intention of sharing them freely with the bride and groom. I was kind of wondering that as well. It's like, that's what I kept saying. Like, what would you have done with them regardless? So you were really going to hoard these photos even if their wedding photographer was great? No, you weren't.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, but they were kind of acting out the role that they were paid to do. Susanna didn't click with me that the dude is a hobbyist, though obviously he is a hobbyist, and then therefore it makes sense they change vendors, which is something you pointed out. I thought you were on point there. They could have been gentler about it. OP seems petty and bitter. Well, yeah, understandably, right? Because OP didn't get the gig, and then they actually did the gig better than the guy they hired. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's frustrating. It's a frustrating switch. Hannah says, ESH, taking the story at face value, bride and groom mishandled this. OP is clearly hurt by what happened, which is valid. However, OP seems to be trying to punish the bride and groom, where I think the terrible photos they got from the other photographer are really kind of karma in a way. Not saying it excuses the bride and groom's poor behavior, but I think people forget or don't realize how much pressure people have when organizing weddings. That's fair. That is fair.
Yeah, this is something that I'm sort of learning with, like, another wedding drama that I'm having, where it's just like you have to put your like personal saltiness aside, because people are just dealing with a lot of stuff when they're planning weddings.
Totally. It's very high stress.
And it's not like about
It's not about you. Yeah, I think OP should probably just, I think it's fair to be like, hey, bro, because it is brother. Hey, I was really hurt. I would appreciate if you paid me since I did the professional job that the professional you hired failed to do. I think that's fair. But then if they get all huffy about it, you might just be like, all right, dude.
Because then it's like they probably, weddings are expensive and they probably don't have the budget to pay 2 photographers.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I would have to know their financial pitch, but I would say this is...
I feel like most people don't have a few extra, few $1,000s lying around.
Yeah, it depends. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't think this is worth going through a capital case about and damaging a relationship with your brother. It's just like one of those things where it's like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah.
So, All right, guys, that's the app. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next Monday morning.
Bye.